Good morning, everyone. You can start in a seated position on your mat, just comfortably seated. And this morning, I'm going to start our class with a shuffle and pull from our beautiful Earth Warriors deck that we've been pulling from the past few Sundays. So this Sunday, we're moving up to the next chakra, which is the heart chakra. The heart chakra is located at your thymus, which is basically right above your sternum. Your sternum is here, right in between your pecs, and a few fingers up, you've got your thymus. That's the gland that the heart chakra is associated with. And the heart chakra is the color green. So we're moving from the warm colors, which have lower wavelengths, into the cool colors now with green that is starting to show a much faster wavelength. So with our lower chakras, which we were talking about, we talked about the root chakra is the first one to form, and it deals with our most primary base needs. The second one to form, that's when we're in the womb to when we're in our infancy, and infants are dependent on their caretakers. From there, you go to your sacral chakra. So that's maybe when you're a toddler or a little bit older, you're kind of toddling around and you need that connection, that intimacy. Then you have your navel chakra, and that's kind of what we're developing, which we talked about last week, at the age of like 2 plus. And it's where we influence our will onto this earth. So that's where you'll see the terrible twos. They're painting, they're drawing on the walls, they're touching everything. It's our time in our lives when we're building and developing our will and what impact we can have on our surroundings. So after that, we move into our heart chakra. So some people will never begin to develop their heart chakras. Unfortunately, it depends on their family upbringing, their general cards that they've been dealt in life. So it really embodies compassion, empathy, and love. There's not much to say about the heart chakra except for those 3 words, because they really fully encompass what the heart chakra is all about. The card that we picked today, I'm just taking a moment to reflect and call on the universe, my spirit guides, to help us choose a card for today that is a message that we need for our practice. Beautiful. I've never picked this card. It's Kai Tiaki, Guardian of Papa Tuanuku. Card number 10. It's a beautiful card. So I'm just going to read the message. So Kai Tiaki, Guardian of Papa Tuanuku. You are Kai Tiaki, Guardian of the Divine Feminine. Your relationship with Mother Earth, Papa Tuanuku, is sacred, empowering, and healing. You are destined to become more spiritually intimate with her, sharing in her creative potency and wisdom. Lean into her trust, in her support, even as you serve her by courageously voicing your truth. She is your great ally, friend, healer, and as you dedicate yourself to her, she dedicates herself to you. What a beautiful representation of that divine relationship that we have with Mother Earth, that she provides for us and we provide for her. Usually I would just stop at the first little message, but I do want to read the next blurb. I'm feeling called to go into that. So, make peace and let go of past issues around being abandoned or not understood or feeling unsupported, as those experiences need no longer color your worldview. Trust that you belong here and that your connection to the Earth Goddess will support you in all ways. You are sensitive, and rightly so. Never judge your sensitivity or feel that you are overreacting, but also allow nature to calm and soothe you so that you can be focused on accomplishing your soul mission. If you feel that you are on your own, when you would like some help, allow the Divine Mother to be your friend and guide, whilst trusting that at the right moment, more allies will arrive. The Earth Mother has her own sense of timing, and you are not forgotten. You are just growing according to her wisdom and grace. Have faith in yourself and in her. I feel really such a message of self-love, such a message of finding balance between that effort and ease. When do we push ourselves and when do we rest? So with that, just begin centering yourself. Close your eyes and slow your breathing down. With your eyes closed, draw the crown of your head up and notice how that lengthens the rest of your body, aligning your spine and your neck in one. Start to slow your breathing down. Elongate your inhales and your exhales. And pause in between each. Grounding you to the earth, but then also elevating you to the heavens. With every breath, fill your belly, let it expand as much as it can. And then expand your chest, fill your chest, and let your breath almost give your muscles, your rib cage a stretch before you exhale. And with every breath, imagine that you're massaging your heart and softening the space around your heart by just stretching that cavity with your breath. You can visualize your breath spinning around your heart as you pull it in, energizing it, and softening it as you exhale and release. So when you're ready, roll into your hands and knees and face the long edge of your mat. On your knees, curl your toes under. Find your foundation. Even in your knees, can you remember your alignment? So tucking your tailbone, drawing your belly button to your spine, elongating the sides of your body, shoulders up and back, and your palms flip out. Feel your neck draw back. Feel the crown of your head draw up. Exhale. Drop your right hand to the mat. Fingers point to the top of your mat and extend your left foot out. Toes pointing to the long edge of your mat. Inhale, reach your left arm up and overhead. And exhale, lift up, arms parallel to the earth. And then reach your right arm up and overhead to complete your exhale. Inhale. Arms parallel and exhale. Left arm up and overhead. Inhale, arms parallel. Exhale, right arm up and overhead. Inhale, arms parallel. Exhale, left arm up and overhead. Pause here. Feel your breath. And feel the outer edge of your left foot grounding into the mat so that you can stretch along your left leg, the left side of your body, all the way through your left arm and extend through your fingertips. See if you can find active fingertips here. And make sure your right hand is plugging down through the four corners of your palm. Beautiful. Sweep your left arm to meet your right arm. Face the short edge of your mat. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your sitting bones, lift your gaze. And exhale, curve your spine towards the ceiling. Tailbone comes in, gaze looks in. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your sitting bones, lift your gaze. And exhale, spine to ceiling. Inhale, drop your belly. This is your cow pose. And exhale, curve your spine. This is your cat pose. Continue pulsing between cat and cow for a few more breaths. After your next exhale, come into neutral. Face the long edge of your mat. Toes are curled under. Find your foundation. Exhale, drop your left hand. Extend your right foot out. Your toes are pointing to the long edge of your mat. And ground down through the outer edge of your right foot. Inhale, reach your right arm up and overhead. Feel the stretch through your legs, through the side of your body, out your fingertips. And exhale. Arms parallel. Inhale. Left arm comes up and overhead. Exhale, arms parallel. Inhale. Left arm to earth, right arm up and overhead. This is your gate latch pose. Continue to flow with your breath. And see if you can slow your breathing and your movement down. The next time your right arm is reaching overhead, stay here. Make sure your left palm is plugged down through the four corners of your palm. And your right arm is reaching up and overhead. Really feel that stretch. Beautiful. Activate your leg, pushing into the earth as you stretch and reach with your arm. On your next exhale, bring your right arm to meet your left arm. And bring your big toes together and widen your knees. Send your glutes towards your heels. Extend your arms out in front of you and melt forward. This is your child's pose. In child's pose, maybe sway from side to side, feeling different areas of your back, stretching. And when you support your back, when you bring your shoulder blades together and really let your heart melt forward, that is what creates support and the opportunity for opening up. Roll onto your belly. Your toes are not tucked under, so make the tops of your feet heavy into the ground. See if you can even weight your pinkies into the ground or into your mat. have your palms by your pecs. Plug in through the four corners of your palm. We're going to do 15 chaturanga push-ups. So first, activate your shoulder blades together onto your back. Notice how that creates a little stretch for your collarbones, for your chest. Inhale and exhale, press into your hands, slight back bend and lower. Inhale, press, exhale, lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, more than halfway there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Beautiful. So create a pillow for your head and just rest your forehead for a moment. Just really exercising and stretching those posture muscles. Bring your hands so that they're pointing towards your feet. Your fingers are pointing towards your feet. And just create some a contraction in your back that slightly lifts your torso. So your heart should not be pointing directly in front of you. It should be pointing somewhat, and it shouldn't be pointing directly down below you either. It should be kind of in between. So make sure your gaze is following your heart. Reach your arms back towards your feet. Feel that active engagement. Breathe. This is your half lotus. Remember to draw your neck back so your chin is not jetting forward. This continues the engagement through the rest of your spine. Really activating and working those posture muscles here. You're doing amazing. 3 more breaths. Last one, make it count. Beautiful. Create a pillow for your head. Bend your knees and just windshield wiper your feet from side to side. The next time your feet fall to the left, leave them there for a moment. You can look to your right. Inhale your feet up towards the ceiling. And exhale, let them fall to the right. Look towards your left. When we have compassion for ourselves, when we give our bodies what they need rather than what we may want, when we give up our stress to the earth and have faith in what we cannot control, we leave room for our hearts to soften. Inhale your feet up to center. You can drop them to the earth. Press into your hands and curl your toes under. Send your glutes towards your feet, almost like our child's pose that we just did. We're going to do puppy dog, which is a little bit more engaged. So with your toes curled under, your arms extended out in front of you, lift your palms from the mat so your fingertips are pressing into the mat, almost like you've got cupcakes under your hands and you don't want to crush them. Melt your heart forward. Try to bring your glutes almost over your knees so that what is supporting you is your arms. Lift the underlining of your arms and let your heart melt forward. Breathe into your back. Inflate those tight spaces with your air and let that stretch and soften any muscles, any tightness. Two more breaths here. Let's really make them count. And when I say make them count, that means take in a juicy breath that feels good. Feel it in your body. Last one. Beautiful. Come to sit onto your feet so your knees are bent, and this might not be very accessible for you, but I promise you, the more you practice, you will have more elasticity in your thighs and your knees, so you can sit fully onto your feet without feeling any pain. I don't want you to move into pain always. We never move into pain, but discomfort is okay. So find your discomfort level. Maybe that means you don't rest in this pose. Maybe it means you're holding yourself a little bit in this pose so you don't go too far, too deep into it and hurt yourself. So honor your body. Whether you're sitting and resting or actively engaged, find some ease here. Breathe. And also find your engagement, holding your alignment. Always finding that perfect balance. Beautiful. Come to a tabletop position, curl your toes under and press up and back into a downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. Come into stillness in your feet. Make sure your hands are plugging in through the four corners. Fingers are wide, thumbs are in a soft J. Really press into your hands and see how that sends your head towards your feet more, between your arms. And what that does is it straightens out your back. So feel that active engagement in your shoulders. Your shoulders are behind you, together onto your back. Actively engaged. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. And exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Stay high onto the ball mounds of your back feet. Strengthen and engage your back thigh and lift your arms up and overhead. So this is your crescent lunge, but we're going to move into a heart opening crescent lunge. So with your shoulder blades together and onto your back, your palms facing each other, pinkies starting to spin towards the wall behind you. Your back thigh is firm, and that is creating a lot of stability and strength for you. At the same time, imagine isometrically drawing your legs together this way and this way. So that's creating your strength, stability, and support. Really lunge into your front leg and feel that stretch along the front of your left thigh. Begin to open up your heart towards the ceiling. Let your gaze follow your heart. So maybe you can't go very far. Honor your body here. Have compassion for exactly where you are. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Come into stillness in your dog. Really press into your hands, find the weight in your heels, breathe into the backs of your legs. Breathe into the back of your heart. Let your heart melt towards the earth. Inhale, lift your left leg up and overhead. And exhale, step your left foot between your hands, staying high onto the ball mound of your right foot. Engage and strengthen the back of your right thigh. Lunging into your front leg, lift your arms up and overhead. Tailbone draws down so you're not dumping into your belly. Scissor your legs together horizontally and vertically. Breathe. Maybe let a soft smile come across your face. Shoulders together, arms are open, chest is open. And begin to send yourself into a slight back bend, opening up your heart to the sky. This is a practice for life. You're a humble warrior. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale, plant your hands, step back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg back behind you. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. This time, drop your left knee. Take a moment if you need to grab some extra knee support. Maybe roll up the side of your mat. From here, take your left hand onto the inside of your right leg. And just scoot your left knee back as much as you comfortably can, so you can begin to twist and open up to the right. Right fingertips come towards the ceiling, look up towards your hand. Bring your shoulder blades onto your back and open up through your chest. At the same time, lunge a little bit more into your front leg so you can feel that stretch along your left hip. Plant your hands, step your knee back into tabletop position. Find your foundation. And this time, just step your left foot between your hands. Scoot your right knee back. With your right hand on the inside of your left foot, begin to rotate your left arm up towards the ceiling. And look up towards your left fingers. At the same time, lunge just a little bit more into your left leg, feeling that stretch along your right hip. Find your balance. Maybe you're a little wobbly, that's okay. Life is a practice of finding balance, of finding opportunities. And in order to embrace opportunities, you need to meet yourself with compassion. Give yourself a chance. And be supportive and nurturing. Plant your left hand down. Step your right foot back. Big toes together, knees wide, child's pose. So this, I would really recommend you just sway here. Feel your hips. And then melt your heart. And come into stillness and breathe for a moment. Beautiful. Come through tabletop. Curl through your toes and up and back into downward facing dog. Look towards your hands, bend into your elbows slightly, and step or hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweep your arms up and overhead. And exhale, palms together and down through heart center and alongside your hips. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. Have your feet just a little bit wider than hip width apart. So maybe coming to the outer edge of your hips, your stance, or just a little bit wider. Facing the long edge of your mat, point your toes to the corners of the room. Find your foundation in your feet. Pedal into your feet, just literally finding all the different parts, feeling your foundation, your strength. Lift your toes, activating those arches, and soften your toes, maintaining that arch engagement. Tuck your tailbone, drawing your belly in, shoulders up and back. Bend into your knees and inhale, scoop your arms up and overhead, and exhale, palms down through heart center. Begin to squat into your legs. If you're able to, bring your elbows to the insides of your knees and press your knees open with your elbows as you open your chest with your shoulder blades coming behind you onto your back. Maybe you need to step your feet in more, find your positioning here. This is your Malasana squat. It's definitely not an easy one, but what it does is it helps us feel grounded, balanced, and open and receptive. Beautiful. Press your hands into the ground and begin to press through your hands so you're in a wide-legged forward fold. Your knees are soft. Just shift your hips from side to side. Letting your head hang, your arms hang, your upper body hang. And just kind of shift your weight from one leg to the other. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend into your knees and come up to stand. Just scoot your heels in one notch and your toes in one notch, and then your heels in one notch. Bend into your knees and inhale. Reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms together and down through heart center. Now pivot your right foot so it's completely pointing to the long edge of your mat. Take your heel from your left foot and just bring it into the arch of your right foot. From here, I want you to face the wall or direction that your right foot is pointing at. So your left hip should be opening up, and then step your left foot forward. Inhale, your arms parallel to the earth. Look over the top and back of your fingers. The front and back fingertips. So you can make sure you're in perfect alignment. So this really helps, that setup kind of helps us open up our hips so our hips are facing the wall beside us, but our gaze is going over our fingertips. Feel your warrior pose. Inhale, straighten your front leg, lift your arms up. And exhale, begin to send your left fingertips towards the earth as your right fingertips come towards the ceiling. Triangle pose. You can rest on your shin so long as you're not pushing your knee back. So make sure you're maintaining that micro bend. Bring your shoulder blades together onto your back, even more, opening up through the heart, and look up towards your top fingertips. Breathe into your triangle pose. Bend into your front knee. Plant your hands and step back into a downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands, bend into your elbows, and hop up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Neck comes back, shoulders come back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms down through heart center and alongside your hips. So if you're at the top of your mat, we're going to do this backwards. So have your right foot pointing to the short edge of your mat, the front of your mat. And take your left foot perpendicular. Bring your left arch to the heel of your right foot. This time, we're going to step our left foot back. So pivot your tailbone down, belly button comes in, lean onto your right foot, balancing most of your weight on your right foot, and then step your left foot back. Make sure your legs are completely in line. Adjust if your leg didn't land exactly where you wanted it to. Make sure your hips are open up to the wall beside you. Inhale your arms parallel to the earth. Look over your front and back fingertips and make sure they're in line. Lunging into your front leg, feel your warrior. Expand through your chest, through your heart, and past your fingertips. Like a warrior of love, send your love from your heart through your entire body and beyond you to everything you touch and do. Inhale, lift your arms up, straighten your front leg, and exhale, begin to send your right fingertips down towards the earth as your left fingertips point towards the sky. Triangle pose. If you're able to, look up towards your left fingertips. Maybe you're noticing one side is easier or harder than another. Don't make anything wrong. Know that wherever you're at is where you're supposed to be. And have compassion for the you that is here today. That's trying to figure it out. That's trying your very best. One more breath. Really take in a juicy, deep breath here. Bend into your front knee. Plant your hands and step back into a high plank position. Exhale, you can drop your knees if you need to. Elbows tucked into your sides, lower down for a count of 3. Beautiful. We're going to go into a bit of a more engaged heart opening back bend. So from your belly, just like how we did in the beginning, where we engage our upper half, our back muscles so that we can lift our upper half. We're going to have that same upper body engagement, except this time we're going to add the lower body. So first bend your knees and just windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Beautiful. Come into stillness. Inhale. Exhale. Pause at the bottom of your breath. Inhale. Lift your torso and see if you can lift your legs as well. Three breaths here. You absolutely can do it. Give yourself a chance and have compassion. It's okay if you can't. We're not about doing it perfectly, it's about trying. Beautiful. Rest. You can bring your hands to your forehead to your hands, and then just rock your legs from side to side again, windshield wipering, creating some movement and softness in your low back. You can let your feet come heavy onto the earth. Take your elbows and scooch them right underneath your shoulders. Fingertips pointing to the front of the room, palms down. Activate your shoulder blades together. See how that opens up your chest, and then draw your neck back. This is your Sphinx pose. Breathe here. Feel the weight of your feet. Just come heavy into your feet. So you can lower to the earth, and then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press up and back into a child's pose. So bring your big toes together, widen your knees. That way your organs have space, and let everything melt to the earth. Beautiful. Come through tabletop and up onto the highest point of your knees. So you don't have to have your toes curled under here, but make sure you've got your knee support. If you need that extra cushion, get it. Your knees should be right underneath your hip bones. Take your hands to your lower back. So right on your low back, kind of on your butt cheeks where your back pockets might be. As if you're sticking your fingers into your back pockets of your jeans. Bring your shoulder blades back behind you. So your elbows also start to come back. And pressing into your low back so that it keeps, what we're doing here is really pressing into our low back, and that's also almost helping you with that tailbone tuck. And it prevents you from dumping into your low back so we don't hurt ourselves. So pressing into your low back, begin to send yourself into a slight back bend. If you're able to, you can drop your arms to your ankles for full camel pose. If you cannot reach, stay at your bus stop with your hands in your back pockets. It's a beautiful stretch, no more or no less worthy than the full expression of this position. Beautiful. If your hands are on your ankles, bring them back to your back pockets and straighten yourself up. Come through tabletop, curl over your toes, and downward facing dog. Imagine that through your arms you can draw the energy up from the earth. And that you can draw the energy up from the earth through your feet, even the parts of your feet that are not touching the ground maybe. Through your breath and into your heart, pull the beautiful energy of supportive Mother Earth. Beautiful. Look towards your hands. You can walk or hop to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Arms up and overhead. Palms together and down through heart center and alongside your hips. So something I just wanted to try today, which we absolutely are not going to go into the full expression of if you've never done this, is bridge. So in order to prepare for bridge, I just want you to look at your palms, bring your fingertips together, and roll your fingertips down so that your fingers are all meeting and the beginning of your palm starts to meet. Almost leave that little space in between your palms, sealing up the edges. Press into your hands, and as you do, press your shoulder blades onto your back. The preparation for wheel, as much as it's physical, is psychological. And that's how life is. There's just about as much psychology involved as there is physiology. Often we can just stay in our heads, trying to figure out what's going to happen, trying to figure out the best course of action, just trying to figure it out, and we forget to move into our bodies. So I want you to truly find balance here. Wheel is a pose of balance, and I want you to find the balance between what you're able to do, what you would like to attempt to do that is out of your current realm of abilities, and at the same time honoring your body, having compassion for yourself. We never shove ourselves in the direction we want us to go in. We guide ourselves in the direction we want to go in. Just like a child, we never scare them into the direction we want them in. We nurture them into that direction. So we need to do the same thing with ourselves. So this might be something that seems like you cannot do this, and maybe you can't. But don't label or judge whether you're able to or not. Just practice and see how far you go. Really, really honor your body. And I just wanted you to feel your feet on the ground and feel your hands pressing into each other as we prepared for wheel. And that was a mental preparation. So this physical prep, we're going to start with the bridge and move into our wheel. Have your feet lined up with your hips, knees bent. You can scoot your glutes closer to your feet or your feet closer to your glutes, and your fingers are pointing to your heels. Maybe they actually reach your heels. Inhale and exhale to empty. On your next inhale, lift your hips up. Maybe scoot your shoulder blades behind you a little bit more, adding support to lift your hips up even further. 3 breaths. Beautiful. Lower your tailbone to the earth. This time, bring your hands so that they're alongside your head and your fingers are pointing towards your feet. So we're kind of doing a little rotation. It might not feel very natural. Make sure your fingers are not pointing out to the sides, that they're really kind of pointing more towards your feet, and that is going to protect your wrists. So once again, if you cannot do the full expression of this pose, know that doing a part expression of this pose is just as perfect, just as valid, just as worthy. It's not about how well you do, it's about how hard you try, or how well you try. Are you trying at all? So give yourself the opportunity. Press into your hands, maybe come to the top of your head as you lift your hips up. And if you're able to, press into your hands a little bit more, lifting your head from the earth. So first, we press into our hands and bring the top of our head onto the mats. And then press further if you're able to into your hands. So for me, I can sometimes do this pose. It depends on my upper body strength that day. Today, I can only go to the top of my head, and that's okay. This is what we practice. And you can come back to your mat. So I never want us to do that for too long because we don't want to move into injury. Take a breath here. You can release your hands from the mat. We're going to practice one more time before we end our session for the day. And I promise you, if you do little things in the direction of what you love, what you desire for yourself, little things day by day will carry you. And before you know it, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years down the road, you look back at what you never thought was able or capable for you. And you're just amazed at how far you've come. So take your fingertips, your palms, put them on the mat, fingertips pointing to your feet. Let's give this one more try. Inhale. Exhale to empty. Pause at the bottom of your breath. And inhale. Press into your hands. Come to the top of your head, and if you're able to, push up a little further. If you're not able to, stay on the top of your head. Beautiful, and come back down to the earth. Extend your legs as long as your mat. Feet wider than hip width. Flip your palms open. Tuck your shoulders behind you. And just begin to breathe. Slow your breathing down. And deepen your breath. See if as you slowly draw air in, you can almost feel yourself sipping it. Oxygenating your body. Soak in your deep breaths. The truth of our nature is that we are born pure love. We come from nature, and nature knows nothing but love. It knows nothing but following its divine path. And our true nature wants us to do the same. Sometimes that means we need to step up and take action. Sometimes it means we need to be soft and restore. But mostly it's about finding the perfect balance between both each and every day. Take a moment to lengthen your neck, maybe creating a slight tuck in your chin, which draws your neck closer to the earth. Your spine is a channel. Your entire nervous system are the roadways for the energy that keeps your body moving. The fact that you are here, that you are able to perceive yourself, to be in community with others who can also see themselves, consciously perceive themselves and others, is a miracle. You are a miracle. And you are truly pure divine love. Any aspect of yourself that you do not see aligning with this pure and divine love is not really who you are. It's your conditioning. It's your responses to your life. It can even be your defense. But those shadows are not who you truly are. You are that light, that energy, that spark that ignites the matter that you call a body. Take the time to shine your light of awareness onto the beautiful parts of yourself, the beautiful parts of life. Take a moment to exhale anything, any tension that's sitting in your chest, and inhale gratitude. Imagine that gratitude is literally in the air, and that with every breath, you soak it into your cells. And with every exhale, you get rid of anything that's preventing you from living your life out of love. Inhale your gratitude, soak it in. And exhale all of the tension that remains in your body. Let it leave now. Give yourself permission to be light. On your next breath, imagine that you can inhale love as if it's a particle that's floating in the air. How much love can you inhale? Really expand your chest and your heart with your love. When we nurture ourselves, we increase our potential for love because we've made that beautiful decision to love ourselves first. Imagine that in taking in this breath, this love, you're metaphorically filling your cup. Sometimes it's not all about bubble baths and face masks and massages. Sometimes self-care is just giving yourself permission to breathe, to let it go. and to just be love, our pure and natural state. Allow yourself now to just be love. The love that you are made of. The love that you are. Whether you can see it some days or not, can you feel it right now? Feel your potential for love. Maybe you love someone or something so deeply. Can you flip that emotion onto yourself and love yourself so deeply? Begin to find some movement into your fingers and toes, your hands and feet, ankles and wrists. Bring your feet together and bring your hands together above your head. Give yourself a stretch. Elongate your body as much as you can. And then roll over onto your right side, giving your heart a moment of rest. And then press into your hands and come up to a seated position. The light and shadow in me bows to and acknowledges the light and shadow in each of you. Thank you for coming today. Namaste. Please take a moment to remember to bow into your heart and thank yourself. You can put both of your hands over your heart. Close your eyes and you can say out loud to yourself, thank you. And feel the gratitude. Thank you for putting in the work, for making the time for me. Say this to yourself. I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you all for coming.